Underwood. Thin ice! To smoke some weed and shut up. My God.
Oh, I thought for sure. There it is. Boom! Yes!
Takes me so long to find it, to share it.
That intro video hits different
So,
in the
give me a
morning.
second.
It's different. So
Sure.
good morning, guys.
That's what
episode
the kids are saying,
187. You want me to do this or?
Live Master Podcast episode 187, Illinois.
Cheers.
December.
Cheers.
Nope, it's January.
Happy New Year.
January 4th, 2024. I guess this is our first episode. Yeah. First episode of the year.
That's why I said Happy New Year. It's been a minute since we've done a morning podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
So, bear with us. We're not greatest morning people. So
I don't know about all that.
We did do spaces.
What I do know
after the game. So all 6 of you that came to that, we appreciate you.
I feel like it was more like 8 or 9, but whatever. I do know that the StreamYard is doing the skipping thing again. I don't know if it's skipping you for anybody else, but it's doing it for me. So we got that to deal with again. That's adversity.
Good.
More adversity than the program's dealing with.
You guys let us know if I'm okay on my end. Ethan seems okay on my end, but he can't hear what I'm saying apparently. So this should be good.
Now I can.
Bergie, how you doing? Steve, how you doing? Gary, we were both late. Thank you. Jeffrey, Ethan went at you on Twitter the other day. You weren't around to hear it. Steve, what's going on? We're already getting comments. This might be the best team I've ever seen in play in Illinois. They have the athleticism of the 89 team and the efficiency of the 83 and 05 teams. That's a lot. So what do you think about the Purdue game? We'll get there. Purdue can't match up with Illinois. Have to hit shots. All right. Here we go. Before we get to the Purdue game, Illinois beat the snot out of Northwestern. 96-66 on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Thursday now, correct?
Yep.
Great. Came out, took care of business. Our players to watch became our players of the game. So I went with Justin Harmon, 29 minutes. I think that's the most he's played all season. 7 for 11 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line, 20 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, or two assists, a block, a turnover. He has now gone 8 for 13 from 3 over the last 2 games for 61.5%. He is 5 for 15 in the first 11 games. Currently shooting 46% from 3, which seems pretty good seeing how he was 35-ish, 34-ish the last couple of years. So we'll take that. He's averaging 19 points per game in 23 and a half minutes in the last 2 games since the absence of Terrence Shannon Jr. So people were wondering who's going to make up those 22 points right now. It seems to be Harmon, along with other guys, of course, but Harmon's really stepping up in this situation where he's getting more playing time. He did take it to the basket a couple of times, which was nice to see. We talked about it on the Twitter Spaces, the head fake in the corner, and then went to his left and had a nice little touch layup over the big man. And I think we're starting to see what Brad was doing in the portal. I know that, your buddies over at Sleepers or whatever gave Illinois a D-, and, these guys weren't big names, but between Guerrier, Harmon right now, and Damask, the transfer portal is treating Illinois pretty good in my eyes. So Underwood said of Harmon, quote, Justin played 29 minutes off the bench tonight. He's being rewarded for his hard work. Harmon and Damask both had podium games. Harmon said, quote, I feel like I'm calming down a lot and trusting my teammates that they will give me the ball in the right spots and making shots. And he also said that he's really loving his new role, playing as hard as he can on the defensive end and taking what the game gives him on the offensive end. He said, I'm not really looking to score. I'm looking to be unselfish and make my teammates better. Whatever I can do to win, whatever Coach Brad tells me to do. So Harmon isn't – they've talked about a lot, connectivity. Everybody wants to win. And that's what Harmon is helping them do right now. But
I kind of feel like you echoed more of what Sleepers was thinking about the portal over the offseason than I did, but that's all right. I'm trying to remember what we said about the portal and who they added.
If you're asking me, I have no idea.
I'm Mr. Positive, so I feel like I'm pretty sure felt pretty good about what they did. And they didn't need to go into the portal and get stars. I think Ray J. Dennis was a pursuit like that, but obviously they didn't. They haven't needed that to this point. Harmon, by the way,
my biggest
shot 100% from three in the FAU game and 100% from three in the Rutgers game, which is the volume in the recent games. Ever since you said, and I quote because I went back and looked at the clip.
Did you go back?
It wasn't as egregious as I remember it, but you said Harmon. You basically said something like Harmon's got to get out of the game right now. Take Harmon out because I think he was getting beat defensively and missed like a shot.
Yeah,
he missed a shot, and then you're like, oh, you can't shoot. By the way, 32% last season and 30% the year before for Harmon. So
okay, so he's shooting out of his mind right now.
He could also be down to 37% in like the next 3 games. Like that's just how it works.
He doesn't have that. Yeah, he hasn't shot that many. I think my biggest question mark was Guerrier, and I will admit that. He's definitely a lot better than what I saw on tape. So shout out to Guerrier. I think he's been my player of the game like 6 times. So
it's weird what happens when you put experienced, talented players in the right positions.
That want to win and play together. So.
Well, I think a big thing for Gary at Oregon is that he just wasn't in the right role.
Yeah.
And he's found a great role here. And he had 3 dunks, explosive dunks in this game. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. Plus, he's shooting the ball well finally. I don't know how the hell he made that step back after Brad yelled at him about defense. He's only shooting 32% from 3, but it feels so much better because it's like plus 14 from what it was a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So it's working. Whatever they're doing right now is working. And I want to tell people right now, playing this well without Shannon is probably not sustainable over the length of the Big Ten, but I still think this can be a very good and a dangerous team. I think we need to relax on some of the comparisons. I think that's where Illinois fans get themselves in trouble every year, is making these types of comparisons. So I'm not going to do that. I'm very, very pleased with what this team has done over the last week and a half. But we'd calm down a little bit. I'm not going to do that now, but I'm just saying in general, everybody relax. Even though I am picking them to beat Purdue, I want to say that right now.
A little precursor, a little spoiler alert. Jeffrey says, tell me now I'm here. Too bad.
I already forgot what I said in the spaces. So
I think he just wants to know about Purdue right now. Philip says, with Illinois' 5-out lineup, Rogers, Damask, Goody, Guerrier, and Hawkins, who does Edie guard? That's going to be Purdue's problem, I think. Jeffrey says, this is what I've been looking for all season. Now I've seen it 2 games in a row. He also says Dane should be running the point guard. You see that no-look pass to Harmon looked like Magic Johnson. That back and forth was nice. This team's playing super unselfish. We'll talk about Dane a little bit.
See what happens when Dane's not looking to score first. Weird.
His minutes are kind of shocking right now. So
but it has to be that way. Whatever. Damask, player of the game for me. 35 minutes, 32 points. I think every time I start talking, then you start lagging on my end. Like StreamYard, you pay you a lot of money. Figure it out. Because it's not an internet issue. Because I have 1,000 other things going, which is not slowing me down because I'm the only one in this house.
So we can't talk at the same time, or
pretty much, yeah. It's ridiculous. StreamYard sucks. Anyway, StreamYard, I hope you're listening because you suck. 35 minutes for Damask, 32 points. What are they going to do? Kick us off? I don't care. 11 of 15 from the field. I think this has to be his second most field goals in a game because he had 15 against FAU. He had 11 in this game. 1 for 1 from 3. Discarded Boo Booey to the ground, whatever little tangle up there, then drilled a 3 right in his face. his face while he was on the ground, whatever. 9 of 10 from the free throw line. So his second 30-point game of the year. This one a little bit more reliant on free throws. I think he only had 1 free throw make in the FAU game. But he had 6 assists, 5 rebounds, a block, 3 turnovers, 32, 5 and 6 in a Big Ten game. I think we'll take that every day from Marcus Damascus. Even like 20 points and 5 rebounds and 6 assists.
Yeah, it was a great game by Marcus. I think I texted you and said I wish they wouldn't overuse him. At the same time, my dad was texting a group of guys and said, why doesn't Damascus pass the ball? I think that was Brad's plan, was to get whoever they wanted guarding Damascus, and Damascus take it to the basket one way or the other. He did have 5 or 6 assists out of that post up. So you'll take that. I mean, they weren't all out of the post up, but still pretty good. Damascus in the postgame said, quote, "It's fun. We enjoy being around each other. You see the joy we play with. We love making plays for each other. It's contagious. It spreads." John Rothstein, calm down. And then Brad was asked about the post-up play. Damascus was asked about it a little bit, and he said that it wasn't really talked about in recruiting. Brad said that he saw, some of it at Southern, and it just kind of translated into it. He expected Ty Rogers to do it a lot more, and it just kind of turned into Damascus doing it more because Ty Rogers has more of that picket body for the quote-unquote booty ball that Brad loves to say.
Thoughts on the Penn State players tweeting about Illinois playing booty ball now?
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic.
I think that's exactly what I would have wanted Brad to do over the offseason. And it's worked. Also, Damascus 24 assists in the last 3 games, so I think he's passing the ball enough.
I agree.
I think some of Illinois' best offense is him posting up.
Yeah, you could clearly see that was the game plan. Again, Underwood said he wanted to do it with Ty more this game too, but Ty got in foul trouble and it wasn't as prevalent. So it's nice to have 2 guys that can do that, and it's nice to have a guy like Coleman Hawkins that can bring out their bigs, and you can have your guards / forwards go down there and post people up. Quincy, another double for him. 35 minutes, 14 points, 6 of 9 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 3 from the line, 10 rebounds and a block. Quincy is great at cutting. That's something Illinois didn't do last year at all. And Quincy he finds holes and he goes at the basket. Luke Goody did it a few times. Ethan's leaving. That's fine. Sorry. I guess he can't hear me, but another great game by Quincy. We'll take that. Excuse me. Sorry. Jeff says, I think it makes us better. No one has to play in Shannon's shadow. I think it definitely makes it better for the team to be able to play without Shannon. Even if Shannon comes back, if he doesn't come back, it definitely helps that these guys are getting consistent minutes in this game. So
internet sucks so bad.
You can't hear me at all, or what?
I don't even know what the problem is. Like every time StreamYard there's an internet thing that pops up. Oh, try plugging in your my router is plugged into the computer. It's annoying, and StreamYard, you charge way too much money to be like this. We will take our business elsewhere if this continues.
I agree.
In March.
The great things about being live, right? And you're welcome, Illini fans. Now all Illini podcasts are live because of us. So
probably true, yeah. Good point.
Philip says, can't beat him, join him for the booty ball. Jeff says, look how Harmon has flourished. Yeah, Harmon's been amazing the last 2 games. And hopefully he can keep that up. Again, I don't expect him to shoot 60% from 3 every game, but if he can keep that up, that'd be amazing. Brizzle says, if Coleman Hawkins keeps playing at a high level that he has the last 2 games, Illinois is going to be a tough beat. Yeah, Coleman, you text me, he was first half player of the game for it. First half player of the half. I don't even know.
POH, yeah.
Yeah, Coleman was really good on the defensive end. He went 35 minutes, 13 points, 5 of 9 from the field. 2 of 5 from 3, 1 for 2 from the line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks. He did have 2 turnovers. But these are the numbers from 3 are kind of big right now. He's 3 of 5 last game, 2 of 5 this game. To be able to pull out the bigs, if he can keep scoring consistently, that's going to be huge against Purdue.
I think you just completely forgot the FDU game. 5 for 8.
Oh, it's 5 for 8 that game.
3 for 5 against Missouri.
Okay. All right.
So he went. Since coming back, he went 0 for 2 at Rutgers. He went 1 for 5 against FAU. But remember, he hit the big one right against FAU. Was that game where he hit a late one? Yeah. Made it like 87, 82 or something. 3 for 10 against Tennessee, which Illinois as a team took a ton of threes in that game, and that's the way Tennessee's the only team to make Illinois look as pedestrian as anybody has on offense, and Illinois still put up 79 in that game. And another thing, how did Illinois only score 74 in that Colgate game? That's kind of amazing because the offense has been at an elite level since early December. Even the Rutgers game, they only scored 76, but that was a good offensive performance. So Coleman, it makes Illinois' offense so much different and so much more dynamic and so much harder to guard if he's making threes. And he's shooting 35% from 3 now. So suddenly, he hasn't ever had a season above 30. So 35, if he could stay in that range, that would be ideal. And I think it is going to make things a little bit more difficult for Purdue on the defensive side, especially when Illinois doesn't really have Illinois doesn't have any sort of real interior presence from a big. Their points in the paint are Rogers and Damask at this point. So We'll see how that's affected. I think there's going to be a lot of kicking out to scorers depending on where Edey's at. Pull Edey out against Hawkins. I think Dane might not even play in this Purdue game in terms of actually playing because of his offense. He'll be playing because he needs to foul.
Yeah, because you got to have him body up against.
And I would go to Hansberry first, honestly. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Send a message.
Yeah.
That was too far. I apologize to Dane.
But Illinois only 18 threes in this game. Their threes are down a bit. Again, they're cutting. Northwestern's defense allowed that. The doubling on everybody. If you got down inside 15 feet, Northwestern was doubling. The guys cut well. Goody cut well. Again, Guerrier cut well. Underwood said of Coleman Hawkins, of course, quote, Coleman Hawkins was elite on the defensive side. We had to throw the elite out there. He also said, quote, I've always said Coleman was a really, really good shooter, and he's proving that, but he's also a really good passer. He only had 2 assists this game, but sure. And then he was asked what he does on the defensive end, and Brad said, quote, he gives you everything. He's instinctive. He just understands that side of the floor. He does everything you don't coach. And that's where Coleman was really good this game. His defensive presence really changed this game. So, man, frog in my throat early morning time. Steve says Shannon did not get his points off offense, fast break and free throws. Now we run offense and have less turnovers without Shannon. I mentioned something about that in the what's it called? Spaces, Twitter Spaces. About that's, we're asking, how do you replace the 22 points? Well, Shannon gets most of his points getting downhill. He didn't get them in the half court, but he was always that reliability when you did get late in the shot clock. If you needed a bucket, that's who you went to. So it's kind of,
I feel like their offense still flowed good with him.
Yeah.
They had 1.29 points per possession and 97 points in the last game he played.
Yeah. Jeffrey, of course, agrees with Steve and thinks that Illinois doesn't run an offense with Terrence Shannon.
That's funny.
Philip, who else said no when Coleman got switched onto Boo Booey? Yeah, him being able to stay on Boo Booey was really nice. I love how you spelled Boo Booey, by the way. Jeffrey, I'd be interested in shot charts the last 2 games. I think there's one per last game. I don't know about the game before. This guy with the red shirt looks like a grizzly bear is making love to his face. All right.
I wanted to get rid of the beard, but I feel like it would be bad if Illinois lost Friday and I didn't. Like, they need to lose for me to get rid of it, I think, at this point.
I bet when this guy in the red shirt was born, a bag of Cheetos flew out. What is going on right now?
Guys, relax.
Jay says, how you doing, Jay? Everyone is stepping up since Shannon's suspension. Holy cow.
Forgot to mute myself.
There are some fans crying about their off-season transfer pickups. It's probably the best in this country so far. Yeah, we just talked about the off-season. So, yeah, Brad apparently knew what he was doing, and I'm not mad about it. Not even 3 games into the Big Ten play, and there are only 2 undefeated teams in conference, Illinois and Wisconsin.
Reliability is hard when one of the undefeated teams is Indiana. They were going to lose at some point, and I think they only lost by 16 last night. It felt like a 46-point game against Nebraska. So
team ball, says Jeffrey. Paul Peters is kind of going crazy right now.
It's a red hoodie. I mean, it's not a shirt.
Man, this guy in the red shirt is creeping me out. I bet he eats alone at the strip club.
God, I can't keep muting myself. I need a hotkey for that. But
oh man, that kills me. All right, on to Ty Rogers. 19 minutes, 6 points, 2 of 4, 2 for 2 from the line. He is what from the free throw line over his last 11?
9 of 11.
Okay. I was gonna say you tweeted it out. I hope you remember.
Hummel said it. That's why I tweeted it.
Pretty good. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. He did have 4 fouls. Underwood thought that Ty is the one that really got them going to start the game. He said when he saw Boo was guarding Ty, it was quote unquote go mode. Foul trouble, of course, kind of limited his minutes and what he could do. Luke Goody, 32 minutes, 2 of 5, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover. I still remember that guy saying that all Luke does is stand out behind the 3-point line and does nothing. He made 2 really good plays. He was behind the 3-point line, probably the farthest one away, still chased down a ball. And then he chased one down right after that too. So even if Luke's not giving you what you expect from 3 from him, he's still all out. And I think that, the worry was, can Damask and Luke Goody handle, small guards and stuff like that. And I thought they did a good job defensively, both of them. So
I think that's the same guy that misrepresented the way Larry Bird plays when he said that about Luke Goody. So I think people who just view Luke Goody as a shooter probably aren't watching the games. And, he made a lot of the right plays in this game. At 32 minutes and he only makes 1 3, but he still has an effect on the game. I think that's a good spot to be in. But maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I did like they actually ran a play for Luke today, or Tuesday, whatever night that was. Yeah, tried to get him open for 3. He did miss it. I think he airballed it. So at least you got to stop airballing shots. Jay says this is the best stretch I've seen Hawkins play in his career. Even without Terrence Shannon Jr., this team seems way better and more enjoyable to watch than last year. Not without Terrence. Okay, gotcha. Philip wants to know if your sweatshirt used to be white and it turned red from all the flaming hot Cheeto dust. What is going on? Why is everybody rating on you?
I don't like Cheetos at all, so I know it probably looks like it, but I'm not a fan.
Especially flaming hot ones.
Ew. Yeah, those are disgusting. Who the hell would eat those? Somebody who lives in their parents' basement, but not me, because I wouldn't.
Yeah, because you got a room upstairs.
I do, and I don't eat Cheetos, so there you go. I'd rather eat the generic ones anyway if I were to, because I think those are just better. There's a lot of cases where generic food is better than the name brand. I think that's one of them.
Yeah.
So
Brizzle says, I'm sure Luke will find a shot eventually, making this team a lot more dangerous when he does. Yeah, I'm not worried about Luke. Again, if it's online, it's just short. So that's a good sign. And
Harmon's making them right now, so that's a good replacement for that.
Yeah. And
Hawkins is making them. Damask made 1.
1 for 1,
DGL comes in and makes one every time. 1 for 1 for him as well.
Wade says Luke has forced shots lately. If he takes open ones, he will bury them. He doesn't shoot well, off balance, running off screens. Yeah, you're not wrong there. They are, they did run that play for him, but he was still off balance when he caught and shot it. So
he made his first of this game, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, that was right out the gate. Made a 3. That's how Illinois started. So
they got up to a 7-0 lead. I think they, The only time the game was close, I think, was like what? It was 9-7.
Yeah.
So because I think Illinois was up 9-2 or 7-0, and then Northwestern went on a 7-2 run, and then Illinois started cooking them again. And I did like there was a couple times where Ty did exactly what Damask did on a shot, or Damask did exactly what Ty did. Like they were matching each other at some point. I think it was the beginning of the second half. Ty came in, goes, baseline right hand hook into the basket, and then Damask did it like a possession or two later. So they're the same player.
Pretty much, yeah. Brizzle says Harmon has a pretty stroke. I don't see him dropping off. I mean, he's probably going to drop off from 46%.
Well, you know what the word I would use right now? The biggest reason why Harmon is making shots as easily as he's making them? Spacing. He's so open.
Yeah.
So open. Also, speaking of Ty, I'm very surprised.
And I think people are going to pick up on that too, and they're going to close out on him a little bit better.
Well, then Illinois is going to have another guy. Like they can create a ton of spacing if Coleman Hawkins is making those shots.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and also, I'm very surprised to see Ty's minute total in this game, but I know there was some foul trouble. He got called for a couple ticky-tack ones as well.
Yeah. The one that killed me was the one where Boo was driving in the lane and he kind of put his arm out, and it didn't even look like Ty did it. He just kind of stood there and played defense, like kept moving, and they somehow called a foul on Ty. Ty has gotten some ticky-tack fouls, but onto the bench. I only put Danger down because,
DGL played the second most minutes.
Yeah, but, he played 4 minutes of, crap time. What do you call it?
Put up numbers, though. Garbage time. 3 points, a rebound, and assist. He was a stud out there.
Yeah, great. Good job.
Didn't get called for a foul. That's a plus.
I said this on the spaces. Do you think Dane tells Underwood not to put him in garbage time?
It's kind of weird that he doesn't.
He's not. Dane, 4 minutes, 2 points, 1 for 1, 2 rebounds, and assist. I think he caught an air ball and put it back in.
There was 2 instances of that happening, by the way. Gary airballed it. Danger caught it and put it in. Damask airballed one. Gary caught it.
Yeah.
Just good offense.
What do you think about Illinois basically just going 6 deep right now?
Well, when they're the best version of this team is the 5-out Coleman Hawkins at the 5.
Sure.
On both ends, it's really not even close. And if Harmon is going to come in and make 4 threes and 7 shots overall, you got to keep running with it. DGL hasn't proven that he should be playing double-digit minutes. Dane is in a tough spot because the best version of the team is not something that he fits into at all, especially with the way Northwestern defends. I think Dane would have been
He would have got eaten
useless.
up when they doubled him. Yeah.
But he did a good job in the 4 minutes. Made a shot. Like you said, the putback off the air ball. He had a couple of good passes. That transition pass, it looked like Magic Johnson that was referenced earlier.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot for Dane. He's a good player, but it just Illinois is in a much better position when he is not playing.
Yeah. People keep talking about how deep this team is. I think it's more of a, the offense can come from anybody than them being super deep. So Underwood was asked about, only running the 6 basically for most of the game, and asked if it had anything to do with like how the net rankings work or whatever. And Underwood said, quote, "I am thinking about winning the game, but I think you would be foolish if you don't think about those things the way the system is set up." He said, "I'm not trying to be unsporting. That never crosses my mind. With Nico out, we don't have a lot of options at the point. It never leaves my mind." So Brad is playing to stomp on teams' throats right now.
It certainly doesn't hurt your net ranking to beat a Big Ten team by 30.
You have to, right?
They're 7th in the net right now, so that'll work.
Jeffrey says Dane's been looking good. I mean, yeah, he's got to be averaging at least a point a minute right now. It's got to be something like that. So, Jay says Hawkins will have to stay out of foul trouble for Illinois to pull the upset Friday. Hawkins is so key to this team for spreading the floor.
Dane Danger has 21 points in the last 24 minutes on 10 of 11 shooting.
Yeah, and doesn't play. It's insane.
But they're so much better when he's not. It's tough spot for him. It's a tough spot. Maybe when Illinois plays Penn State, he'll put up like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Philip says, should Illinois trap Edie? No. I think they're going to allow Coleman to be Coleman. So we're a deep team lost a
Purdue
couple.
Purdue has too many
and two
guys. They have too many guys that are shooting a high percentage from three to just be leaving shooters alone, I think. And I think you have to let Edie get the 20 that he's going to get. Yeah. Even though I know Northwestern, their defense worked against them. But I think there's a lot of circumstances involved with a game like that. Especially, it's a lot different playing them at home as well. Yeah. And I think they're still on break. So be probably still a great atmosphere, just a little different. I know that Illinois' atmosphere was boring as hell as it normally is, but it didn't matter.
Well, I mean, the Orange Crush isn't there.
It might be worse when they're there. So yeah.
Other notes.
They're just focused on the McNuggets or whatever. What a joke!
Let's get through this Northwestern game.
Boo Buie, by the way, still, he's never going to win at State Farm Center. Such a shame for him.
Yeah,
he could have transferred here
back for his 8th season.
There's no way he has eligibility.
Other notes and quotes and notes. 35-24, Illinois won the rebounding battle. 17 assists on 35 made baskets, which I think is pretty good considering how much ISO ball was played. Underwood said, oh my gosh. Underwood said the right reads, turning down the good ones for great ones is how you get so many assists. They were 10 of 18 from 3 for 55.6%, 62.5% from the field, 16 for 20 from the line for 80%. Pretty good numbers. Really good numbers, actually. So Chris Collins said, quote, this is a butt kicking in every sense of the word. Damask was fantastic, but a lot of other guys were fantastic. The story of the game was our inability to defend them. We can't take this game and flush it and forget about it. We have to understand why we couldn't guard them and fix the problems.
Underwood. I think Northwestern's biggest takeaway, Chris Collins' biggest takeaway from this game should be Illinois had absolutely zero fear of our guards on either end, and they couldn't guard Illinois at all. Yeah. But I also think Illinois has a bit of unique personnel in the starting five, given the fact that everybody is 6'5" or above. I think that's troubling for a Northwestern team that has Boo Buie, who's 6'2", Ty Berry, who's 6'3", and then Langborg, 6'4", Barnizer, 6'6". Like, they couldn't guard him. And I think that's going to be something that happens to multiple different Big Ten teams this year against this Illinois team.
Yeah.
But also, it helps when you have, like, every shot going in. Because Illinois shot 65% from two, 65.8, which is basically 66, 25 for 38 from two, 10 for 18 from three, and then 16 of 20 from the free throw line. The only free throw misses coming from Hawkins and Damask. It's weird how when Illinois starts making threes and being better at the free throw line, people stop complaining about those things as much, which was one of the top complaints over the last few years. They're up to 118th in the country in three-point shooting right now. That's the best they've had really since 2021, I have to assume, right? Well, actually, 2022, the Plummer team was 56th.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. A couple other things from Brad in the post game. He said, quote, Northwestern is a really good team, and it's a little misleading when you make shots. And tonight we made shots, kind of like you said. Illinois shot lights out this game. And then he was asked about the team and how they had gotten through the week with everything going on. And he said, quote, they are very connected. I don't know what other word to use. And they have tremendous desire and passion. And they all believe in their abilities. It's attributed to them. He talked about the Secret Santa thing and, how thoughtful the gifts were. For some reason, he said, I don't know if I should tell you this.
Yeah,
Tell you guys this when
that.
they literally made a video about it.
Yeah,
So.
he ain't paying attention. Also, by the way, with the way people have spoken about the 3-point shooting under Brad Underwood, you would think that they've been terrible every year. 3 of the last 4 years, they've been like above average at it, which is, I think that's funny because the 2021 team was 30th in the country. The 2022 team was 56th. And then this year they're up to 118. And then last year was so bad that like I feel like you would have thought that every year would be bad because they were 335th last year.
Yeah.
But it's weird how 3 of the last 4 years they've been a good 3-point shooting team. So nice try, everybody. I mean, you look at the percentages right now. Damask is only shooting 20% from 3. But here we are because he dominates from 2. He's shooting 61% inside the arc, which I feel like that's pretty good for a 6'6" guy listed as a point guard for some reason. Well, he kind of, I don't know. It's point guard by committee. It's him and Rodgers pretty much.
Yeah, I think that he might run the point more than Ty Rodgers does at this point.
Well, when Ty's only playing 19 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, obviously. But
Damask,
he's not playing that much.
35 minutes in this game, 33 against Fairleigh Dickinson, 35 against Missouri. He's playing a lot of ball. And you said he's being used too much. So we'll see. By the way, his real, like, you could tell Illinois' offense is on the up and up because he was not getting very many assists early in the season. He didn't have a game over 3 until his 7-assist performance against Missouri. And since then, obviously, 7 assists, 11, 6. Obviously, coming with that is more turnovers because he does have 24 assists to 10 turnovers in the last 3 games. But I think that's a ratio we should take, especially with a guy who's probably not handled the ball as much as he has this season.
Yeah,
he was listed as a power forward in his 4 years at Southern Illinois, so they had a lot of other guards there too, and we'll see one of them on Friday night. I got a couple stats here that I contributed.
Good work.
Last
like
2
the
episodes,
highlighting too.
Well, just try to keep it above board. Last 2 docs have been some of my best work here. I think I've actually been doing stuff, but not keeping that up. I mean, I'm checking out unless they win this next game. Illinois is plus 104 in scoring differential since the Tennessee loss, plus 63 in the last 2 games. I know that 2 of those games were Colgate, who they only beat by 17, and Fairleigh Dickinson. But you look at the Missouri blowout, you look at the Northwestern blowout, it all adds up to plus 104. This team's looked very connected, as Brad likes to say. Maybe cohesive could be a word he could use there. Connected does sound good, though. But I feel like he's used it 763 times in the last week.
I mean, he even had Harmon using it. So, I mean, I think that's what it's going to be.
I heard Harmon's going to have to run because he was calling him big dog or something.
Yeah, he said that something about if you don't go after the ball, the big dog will come after you or something like that. So
the Tiger Woods meme is out of control.
What's wrong with the big dog? I mean,
it's what you say to somebody when you don't remember their name. I mean,
sign of affection.
Whoever Tiger Woods was saying big dog to, he didn't know who the hell that was. I didn't even watch the video. I just know that, come on. It's probably like it's probably John Daly or something. He just didn't know who he was.
Right.
Anyway,
right.
Illinois through 13 games under Brad Underwood each season. His first season, they were 8-5. They finished 14-18. Second season, 4-9. Finished 12-21. 2019-20 started 9-4. Finished 21-10. Next year, 9-4, 24-7. 2021-22, 10-3, finished 23-10. Last year, 9-4, finished 20-13, and they're 11-2 this year. So the best start
wow.
through 13 games. I think it's because Illinois hasn't lost any games they shouldn't have lost.
Right.
Which I think if you look at last year, I would argue that they should not have lost to Missouri because despite the fact that I think Missouri had a better season than Illinois last year, the metrics would tell you Illinois is a better team, and it's a neutral site. And also the Virginia game, I think Illinois was just as good as Virginia. Virginia was a 4 seed last year, a fraud. They lost to Furman in the first round. No disrespect to Furman, but then you look at 2022, they lost to Cincinnati early in the season and a Marquette team that wasn't great. So that was a loss they shouldn't have had. They lost to Missouri in 2021. It's a loss you shouldn't have had. 2020, they lost to Miami, who was not even in the top 100 that year. That was a tough one. 2019, they were just awful, so you know what happens. The year before that, they lost to UNLV, New Mexico State. I mean, Illinois was terrible, though, so most of these teams are better than Illinois that year.
Yeah.
But where do you think Brad Underwood is going to end up on the all-time coaching wins list when he's done in Illinois?
If I had any idea, give me where they're at.
Well, obviously, number 1 is Lou Henson.
Yeah.
2, I believe, is Harry Combs. 3, I would think, has got to be Weber, right? Let me see.
Where's Lon Kruger on the list?
That's a good point. No. Underwood's already passed him. Okay, so number 1 is Lou Henson at 423. Number 2 is Harry Combs at 316. From Monticello, by the way, shout out. I don't know why I said that. I've never even been to Monticello.
I have. I played golf in Monticello.
I think my dad's football coach or something lives there and coach football there. I don't know, whatever. I'd never even heard of it. Sounds like a pizza place to me. Bruce Weber's number 3 at 210. And then number 4 is Douglas R. Mills at 151. 5 is J. Craig Ruby at 148. And then Brad is 6th at 114. So I feel like he could probably pass everybody except for Combs, right? I don't think he gets 202 more wins here, but I think he could pass Weber. I mean, he's only, what is that? I actually think
if he's here for 10 more years, he's got a chance.
I don't think this is updated. I think he has 125 wins right now. Yeah, he's 125 and 81. So he's 85 wins away from tying Weber. And he's what, 60 right now? Okay, he's 60, if he has 10 more years, I mean, yeah.
Is he 60?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes he looks like he's 60, sometimes he looks like he's younger than 60.
Yeah.
I think this year he looks younger because maybe a little bit less stress right now with this team.
That's true. Yeah.
He's already 30 wins ahead of John Gross, by the way. So you can That's actually impressive given the fact that he had 3 years where he couldn't do anything because they sucked. Well, I guess it was 2 years.
Gross had – how many years was Gross here? 7? 8? More than I probably think.
5.
Just 5? Okay.
Yeah. He went he also inherited like a good – like they weren't that bad. This is completely different. Like he had 5 years and he only made the tournament once and made the NIT 3 times. So shout out to him for that. But Brad also inherited a way harder situation. And this is year 7 for Brad, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he had 2 years where he only had 26 wins. So if you look at 5 years of Brad Underwood since the first 2 years, that shouldn't count because they were so bad. And he inherited a situation from some loser who doesn't know how to coach at this level. He's got to have he's got 99 wins counting this year in his last 5 seasons. And John Gross had 95 wins in his 5 seasons at Illinois after inheriting a team that won 20 plus his first 2 years. So that's all you need to know right there. When people complain about, oh, Brad doesn't do enough, or Brad, we could still have John Gross here if you guys want. I mean, go ahead. That would be fun. Who do you think has the least amount of wins in Illinois coaching history?
Some guy with 2 probably.
Frank L. Pinckney, 1906, 1907, had 1 win, 1 in 10. Even Jamal Walker, who is the interim, went 2 and 1.
Yeah.
So
great. All right.
Brad also has 1 conference title, 1 conference tournament title, and 3 NCAA tournament appearances. So he's already catching up to people in that regard. You look at the all-time NCAA tournament appearances: Henson 15, Combs 4, Weber 7, Kruger and Self both had 3. I mean, Bill Self would be the all-time winningest head coach in the program if he would have stayed. So it's unfortunate, but the point of the point is that I did a lot of looking at this stuff last night, so I wanted to bring it up. But Brad Underwood.
Oh, there was a point to all this.
Brad Underwood is trending towards being one of the 2 or 3 best coaches in the history of the program. I would argue right now that he's number 3. I don't know who Harry Combs is, so I apologize. I'm sure he was great. He's from Monticello. Shout out Monticello once again. But
not Monocle's Pizza, but
same thing, pretty much. Brad Underwood is a very, very good basketball coach. And I think that people have been taking him for granted at times recently.
Yeah.
Even if they get beat by 30, I still love Brad Underwood. You know what? That's a complete 360 from where I was 4 years ago.
That's true. That's a long ways from your facial hair is longer too, and you look like you eat a lot of Cheetos. So
apparently so. And also, by the way, I am so far pro Brad Underwood, it would take a lot for me to ever want him gone.
Yeah. Here to stay as long as he wants to be here.
Who is a better option? There is none, unless
there never has been.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I mean, part of me did think that like it'd be funny if like Chris Beard ended up here, but that's just a funny joke.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts in the chat on this? What are the chat?
They are not talking about this. They don't seem.
I thought if I brought up Harry Combs and some of the other old people would chime in.
But we will go. We'll go back and see what people said. Hayden on X. You can comment on X and how we can see him. Says, does Illinois attack Edey and get him in foul trouble? Who can take it at him? Edey doesn't foul. I don't know if you've watched a Purdue game this year.
You know what? If we had Edey on our team, I think you would code with how many foul calls how many times he gets fouled and doesn't get called, which is what happens when you weigh 300 pounds.
I don't hate Edey. What are you talking about? You're the one.
I'm just saying,
the one that hates him because he assaulted Matthew Meyer. Why are you going after me right now?
I'm just saying that Kofi used to get hammered and you would freak out. You would freak out even more with this.
Probably. I mean, I think we're both in the same. Like, we're not in the he's just big crowd.
Yeah, that's insane. That's an insane. People who think that, I think, have never played basketball or watched anybody play basketball. Yeah. Like, seriously, because like that's. I mean, all you have to do is look at Vanover from Missouri, who's 7'5" and he stinks. I mean, it's very simple.
Right. Yeah. Edey's definitely developed into a really good basketball player. Philip says Purdue without students on campus the last 2 years lost to Rutgers in Wisconsin.
I did remember seeing that. I already think they're going to win, so I don't need to feel better.
Jeff says somebody can come off the bench. I'm really not sure who he's talking about. It's been so long since he said it because you went on your little rant. Wade says Ty making free throws is big. Brizzle says DeMar Damask. He also says he eats in the mid-range game for sure. Wade says he loves Damask's old man game. Jay says this is a complete team. So many ways they can beat you. Every player on the court is a threat.
Do you know who's better from the mid-range than DeMar DeRozan? I know a lot of people have been saying DeMar DeRozan because he plays for the Bulls. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are both better. Maybe not Booker. Well, they're kind of all the same, but I'm just going to say that because I'm going after the Bulls fans. By the way, Harry Combs coached at Champaign High School before getting the job at Illinois. Can you imagine if Illinois right now fired Brad Underwood and hired the Champaign High School head coach? It's pretty funny. To be fair, though, he did have 3 straight trips to the state championship before he got hired at Illinois.
Bergie says Combs got fired for a slush fund scandal. How's that?
Good coach, though. 316 wins, won a lot of ball games.
Ryan says, I've never been a Coleman hater. I've always rooted for him. But this is why Illinois fans have been frustrated the last couple of years because we all knew he had it in him. Yeah, I think he tweeted out that, everybody doubted him and he's still not even 100%. Damask tweeted back at him and said, I think you're a pretty good player. So, by
the way, I read almost the entire Wikipedia page of Harry Combs last night, and I did not see the slush fund thing. Now I do. He had the respect, though, that he died in Champaign in 1977, so stuck around. I guess he was from, Monticello. Shout out Monticello. And he did coach at Champaign High School, so it makes sense.
Where was he? Hold on. Where was he from?
Monticello, yeah.
Okay.
Wade, did I not say that?
Maybe once.
Oh.
Maybe a while ago, though.
What do you think the population of Monticello is as of the 2020 census?
I think the population of Monticello is probably like 9,500.
How about 5,900?
Oh, yeah, that's close.
Not bad. By the way, 3 Final Fours for Harry Combs. 49, 51, 52. He knew how to coach ball until the slush fund scandal.
Until he started stealing money from people.
Combs, along with assistant coach Howie Braun and head football coach Pete Elliott, were pressured into resigning on March 19th, 1967. Where were you? By the university, which was threatened with expulsion by the Big Ten Conference over a slush fund scandal. He was succeeded by, is that a word? You use that word a lot, right? Or seceded?
Succeeded would be
Harv Schmidt.
After the fact.
Right. Harv Schmidt 10 days later on March 29th. And then after that, it just says he died in Champaign on November 13th, 1977. By the way, Harv Schmidt took over for him. And let's see what he did. All right. Hey, had some good
on 7 seasons right now, huh?
It's part of the. I'd like to see another podcast doing this. It's interesting stuff. Harv Schmidt was born in Kankakee.
Oh, yeah.
I think every coach back then was probably from the state of Illinois at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't really have a lot of options, but you didn't hire companies to go get Brad Underwood from Oklahoma State.
Well, obviously, you look at Harv Schmidt being gone. The next year, they had Gene Bartow in 74, 75. Then Lou Henson came in the next year. And some might say the rest is history.
Yeah, it sounds like history to me. Wade said it's always been about decisions for Coleman. Bad shots, bad passes. Hopefully he has that figured out and can be consistent moving forward. We shall see. David said Brad Underwood, thick ice. First merch item.
Yeah. We need a merch company to hit us up because I don't want to do it on my own. Also, by the way, who do you think won the Big Ten in 1976?
Rutgers.
Okay.
Iowa. I don't know.
Iowa finished 9-9.
That didn't win the Big Ten back then?
Indiana won the Big Ten going 18-0.
What did Rutgers win? The Big East? What conference did Rutgers in 1976? Were they even a school?
We're going to really get after it now.
We already got Bergie. Steve says, I remember Lou getting hired. I'll take Underwood all day over every coach except what's his name in Kansas.
Fair.
Wade says, Brad is the man. Best record in the Big Ten the last 4 or 5 years. Just need NCAA tournament success. I agree. He's got to get to the second weekend sometime.
I find it funny that we would think the Rutgers didn't exist back then, but I mean
they've been around since like 18.
Their first basketball season on record was 1906.
Yeah.
By the way, they were an independent.
Oh.
Very in 76, and then the very next year they went to the A10. I think Tom Young has to be their winningest coach. A ton of wins. 71 and 18 in his first 3 years, and then won 168 after that. So add that up. He's got to be up there for sure. But yeah, shout out to Rutgers.
Jay said, what 2 great hires at the time? Tim Lasagna Beckman and Johnny Gross. Embrot says Tal Brady was the point guard when he was in 5th grade. How long ago it was that, Embrot?
By the way, Mike Thomas, is that the former AD? Is that his name?
Yeah.
What a moron.
What a moron. Philip says it's early, but who's the worst matchup for Illinois in the NCAA tournament? That's an Ethan question. By the way, January 19th. Is that when you've scheduled that thing? 13th. What day did you schedule that for? I believe it's Friday, January 19th. We will be doing a all NCAA. We do a preseason, we do a midseason, and then we do a countdown to the Final Four or March Madness or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, the countdown to March Madness stuff will start in February. Those will be on Mondays. I scheduled on a Friday. But just kind of a midseason check-in. We have predictions before the season, but those will be on my account. I'll probably retweet them from the podcast account as well. Tal Brody, by the way, 1962 to 65, he played at Illinois. So 1965 is he's got a long-ass Wikipedia page. I believe he was his nationality American/Israeli, and I think he's pretty famous over there. He's a EuroLeague champion, 10-time Israeli League champion. He served in the U.S. and Israeli military. He had a political career, apparently. I mean, this guy, he might have the longest Wikipedia page of any Illini basketball player of all time that nobody knows except for Embrats.
Do you have a worse matchup for Illinois at this point right now?
I mean, what are we talking like in the second round? I feel like right now they're probably a 2 or a 3.
Draw Indiana State.
That would be bad. Yeah, Indiana State is very good. I think if you look at like Indiana State or somebody like Drake, I don't think both of those teams will get in. So whoever wins the Missouri Valley is a tough matchup for anybody. Indiana State lost to only losses this season, Michigan State and Alabama. So, and they're really good offensively. They're top 10 inside the arc and behind the arc. So one of those Missouri Valley teams would probably be my answer in terms of tough matchups. If we're talking the first round, if Illinois, I think best case for Illinois right now from a seed perspective is like being a 4 or a 5 if there's no Shannon the rest of the year. So that's, I think the best spot to be in, I think, for this team would almost be as like a 6 seed playing one of those shitty first 4 teams, hopefully. I think that'd be a great spot to be in because there's not a ton of 3 seeds that I would fear based on what it is right now. I would love for Iowa State to keep winning and then play Iowa State in the second round or something. That would be sick. Anyway.
Philip says Bill Self helping for ETSJ improves my opinion of him. I mean, I wouldn't believe everything you read on Twitter, guys. So Kansas is the only team that matches well with Illinois. Jeffrey says Arizona. Philip says, but Kansas has Hunter. He doesn't know how to beat Illinois. Steve laughed at that out loud. Jeffrey says, does that change if we beat Purdue? I don't
beating Purdue would go a long way in improving the seeding, yeah. I also have a Ken Palm screenshot from January 3rd at 12:06 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah, I tried to make this bigger and you wouldn't let me.
Well, it messes up the text. I just want to read it real quick.
Okay.
I like how much green there is on this picture.
There's a lot of green, yes.
I mean, you look at how good they are at making 2s and guarding 2s. That's pretty good. They're great at guarding the free throw line. Teams shoot 66.7% from the free throw line against Illinois. And they're better at guarding the 3 than they are at making it, but they're not bad in either spot. Their defense has gone down a little bit. I think I said on Spaces, I'm just going to delete this now because, like, what's the point? If Illinois didn't want Northwestern to score 60, I think they wouldn't have scored 60. Because Northwestern made several 3s late and ended up shooting 50% in the game. So, all right. I mean, we're almost an hour in. Better get to the preview.
Yeah. Embrot says, do you feel better leading into the Purdue game or how we felt headed into the Tennessee game? Ethan feels exactly the same as he did in the Tennessee game, and we'll get to that. I feel exactly the same also. Those feelings are completely different, however.
You're negative. Yeah, you're negative. We get
I'm not negative. I'm being honest with myself.
You got to love college basketball. Top 10 matchup buried on a Friday night. Number 9, Illinois, 11-2, 2-0 in the Big Ten against number 1 Purdue, number 1 Purdue. Not
even a top 10 game in Andy Katz's eyes. So
he knows ball, right? Yeah. Same moron that ranked the Northwestern.
Oh no, we missed it. Recording the pod when Jersey Jerry hits his hole in one. Sad. Oh, that makes me sad. Is he going crazy right now?
I feel like I got screwed that I missed that because I watched a lot of that.
I did too. Hinkle, can you go into his chat and send everybody over here? Thanks, appreciate you.
The tweet is from 20 minutes ago and it has 1 million views.
That's awesome that he woke up and did it. That's great. If you guys didn't watch Jersey Jerry, he's been going a whole 24 plus hours trying to make a hole in one, and he did it. Maybe we'll do that someday. Try to get to 500 subs.
My body hurts watching it. I can't.
4-star friendly says nothing against Northwestern, but these next few games will tell us more about where Illinois is headed.
Certainly.
Yeah, definitely will. 4-star did come on our spaces too, so thanks to him.
Shout out.
Coming out. Jeff, I want to know how Ethan attacked me on Twitter.
I don't even know what I said, but there is a recording on the spaces. If you go to our account, you can listen to it. I don't know what I said.
It was just about how Illinois doesn't run an offense.
Oh, there's like so many cutters now where it's like, I mean, you think we're back in the World Cup from a couple of years ago in cutter.
It was about how you kept telling them to go back and watch the Tennessee game and how they didn't run an offense, and now you can shove it in your.
But I also think like the Tennessee game is a prime example of a team that can make it very hard and make you do things you don't want to do, which Illinois took like 100 threes in that game. So I think that was more of a credit to Tennessee. But they're finding their identity on offense now. Purdue 13-1, 1-1 in the Big Ten, obviously losing in Evanston, different circumstances. But I think Gary Parrish wrote in his column, he has Illinois 5th, by the way, in his top 25 on CBS Sports. I believe he said something like, it has to mean something when the one team that's beaten Purdue lost by 30 to Illinois. It's got to mean something. It might not mean everything, but it's got to mean something, which I agree. 7:30 p.m. Central watch party? Question mark?
As far as I know, we're in.
All right. FS1.
Might be our first loss.
This will be our second Purdue watch party. I believe like 2 years ago we did it when they had Ivy and all them.
We didn't do it last year when they were down 30 in the first half.
Hell no. That was
Thank goodness. That would have been bad. We would have got canceled.
Almost won that game, though.
They almost did, yeah. Friday
night top 10 matchup in the Big Ten. Purdue is elite. I'm sure Brad will say that. I think they're the best team in the country. I think I rightfully had to back off of that a little bit after they lost to Northwestern, but I still think this is the best team in the country. I don't think Houston, like we have to wait to see what Houston does in the Big 12. Houston is undefeated and ahead of them on KenPom, but Purdue has played the hardest schedule by far this season, I would think, right? I mean, Xavier is not great, but they're a top 45 team. Gonzaga is not great, but they're a top 30 team. Tennessee, Marquette, Alabama, Arizona, and they played Samford. I mean, come on. By the way, my Samford thing is aging pretty well, Jeff, because Samford, they haven't really played anybody, I understand, but they're 12-2, and they're 101st on KenPom right now, and they have the 4th longest active win streak in the country, and they're also 4th in the country in 3-point percentage, and their head coach's name is Bucky McMillan. So we can relax with the Samford stuff. Purdue beat them by 50, but anyway, Zach Edey is certainly going to be National Player of the Year again. I don't think there's any doubt. Plus they have Smith, Lawyer, and Jones in the perimeter. Trey Kaufman, Wren, Miles Colvin, Mason Gillis, and Camden Hyde are 38% plus from 3-point line this season. So that's got to mean something, you know? I mean, everybody is tweeting about this thing. The USGA tweeted about it. I mean, PGA is ridiculous.
At least we can go back and watch it. Philip says, does anyone in the Big Ten have a defense close to Tennessee? I don't see it.
No. Personnel matters too.
Steve says, on the line, I beat Purdue 91-82. The best team in the country smacks number 1. That's a bold prediction.
I'm just saying, Jeff. I'm just getting it out there.
Jeff says, haven't picked on you on Samford for a while.
Samford's looking pretty good.
All right.
I mean, their metrics are getting better because they're playing nobody, but still, Purdue beat them by 50. I don't think Illinois could beat them by 50, maybe 20. Anyway, Purdue projected lineup: Braden Smith at the 6 foot 175 sophomore, shooting 49% from 3, had 27 against Alabama, 26 against Arizona. It's Ty Rogers time with this one, so hopefully Ty can lock him down. Fletcher Lawyer, 6'4", 180 sophomore, 11 threes in the last 4 games, shooting 39%. Lance Jones, 6'1", 200 senior, the veteran presence for this perimeter group. Southern Illinois transfer as well. 3 for 10 from 3 against Maryland in their last game. Trey Kaufman, Wren, 6'9", 230 sophomore, 11 offensive rebounds in the last 4 games. And then the big man, Zach Edey, 7'4", 300 pounds, senior, Andre the Giant, like 62% from 2-point range, up 2% from last season. So playing even better. KenPom numbers, adjusted offense and defense, Illinois 12th offensively, 17th defensively, Purdue 2nd and 6th. 2-point percentage, Illinois 57.9%, 13th in the country. Purdue 55.7%, 36th in the country. 3-point percentage, Illinois 34.6, 117th. And Purdue 38.9, 14th in the country. Players to watch.
My players to watch are Coleman Hawkins and Fletcher Lawyer. Holy cow. We need to see how well Coleman can defend Edey without fouling him. He's going to have to make some threes to spread the defense out against Purdue. We've talked about that a lot. And Fletcher Lawyer is one of those guys you can't let him get hot. He had 27 against Arizona. He had 27 against Tennessee. He did it two different ways. He was 5 of 9 from 3 against Tennessee, and then he went 10 of 11 or against Arizona, and then he went 10 of 11 from the line against Tennessee. I think Edey's going to get his. I think you want to keep Edey under 30, and then you got to stop the guards. I think the two that we're talking about, you can't let them get 20-plus point games. So.
That was his 2,628th shot, by the way. Anyway, every time I pull up my computer, I just keep seeing it. All right. Did you do your players to watch? Yeah, I zoned out.
You're fine. You came. I thought you were talking, and I couldn't hear you, and then you came back. I don't know if you were calling somebody on the cell phone or what.
I don't know what I was doing. Justin Harmon is my player to watch. He needs to keep making threes. That's going to be a big question in this game. He's got to knock some down, especially in a road environment. You don't want to sink yourself too early. And I can just envision a scenario now where Coleman comes out and just can't buy one. That could suck. Yeah. Braden Smith is my player to watch for Purdue. It's Ty Rodgers' time to guard him. I don't think Purdue's guards have faced a perimeter with the size of Illinois. And this is a game where it would be great to have Shannon and Rodgers together defensively. Obviously, we can't. But you do have Damask and Goody, who I think have been pretty good defensively recently, as well as Rodgers.
So you got Ty Rodgers on Braden Smith. You think Luke Goody guards Lawyer, which they were high school teammates, and then you got Lance Jones guarded by Damask, where they were teammates last year. Southern. So
run it. I like it. Run it.
Interesting. And I think that.
How about Guerrier on Edey a little bit too?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I think Guerrier guarding Wren is going to be the toughest defense Wren has seen all year, because Wren plays more like a center, which, they play that 2 center lineup basically with him and Edey. And I think Guerrier is going to give him some fits. So
that could wildly backfire, by the way, on Purdue later in the season, like playing that with 2 big men, essentially. Matchups are going to matter a lot for them.
I agree. But yeah, you got to let Edey, he's going to get his. You keep him under 30. You keep Lawyer and Smith and Jones out of, under 20 is what you're hoping from those guys. I don't know if they've, Tennessee, I guess, would be a defense close to Illinois. They've seen, they put 71 up against them and still won that game. So we'll see what happens. Well, we got Jay says Mason Gillis seems like he's been there for 10 years. Jeff says the only reason I picked on you is they look like a high school team compared to the college team. Steve says can't wait to watch Lawyer guard in the post. It'd be interesting. Going to miss Shannon's D this game. I agree. Steve also
defense.
I said this
his defense. Yeah, Shannon's defense.
Oh, ouch. Okay. All right.
Good job, guys. I was gonna say, by the way, Mason Gillis is a normal 4-year senior. So I feel like we say that so much about players, but it's actually not like Boo Buie is definitely a guy like that. But I think if you're a 4-year senior, you play like every year, it's gonna feel like that.
And I think that he can play next year too, right? I think that's the last class of COVID. Like Coleman, Mason Gillis, those guys are the last COVID class. What do you guys think the score will be? We'll tell you our score here in a minute, but you guys let us know in the comments. And if you're new here, if you can subscribe to us, we'd appreciate it. Like it, give us the thumbs up. We appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out with us. So Hinkle says Illinois social media promo for Friday night featuring DGL is an A+ troll job. I didn't see that. Did you see that? What's he talking about?
I guess because he decommitted from Purdue.
Oh, gotcha.
Which I don't think they care that they don't have him.
His mom's already going off on Twitter too. Best guess who matches up against Purdue's starting five. I think we just went over that, did we not? Am I crazy?
Rogers on Smith.
Yep.
Goody on Lawyer.
Yep.
Damask on Jones. Guerrier on Kaufman Wren. Matthew Meyer on Zach Edey. Coleman Hawkins on Zach Edey. This is a revenge game. Hopefully the boys remember when Edey tried to assault Matthew Meyer last year.
Yeah. Who do you think is Illinois' leading scorer in this game?
I'm gonna go Luke Goody has like 19 and makes 5 threes.
I would love that.
But then I'm gonna say Damask has like 5 points. And Rogers has like 4, and then Coleman has like 9, and then they
score
win.
52.
Harmon's gonna have 30. I don't know. Whatever. My prediction's so bad.
All right, our predictions. Here we go.
Cut that.
I got Illinois losing this game. It's hard to go to Purdue regardless of what time of year it is and if the students are there or not. I got them losing 81-75. I think their only way of winning this game is to keep Purdue in the 70s, which is possible.
I have them winning 75-70. I've changed it. It was, what did I have, 71-70 at one point or something? I add a couple points to the mix, or 72-70. I don't know. I just feel like it would be cool. Yeah, I changed to 75-70. I think it would be cool if they won, so I'm picking that. I mean, look, nobody should blame me for trying to be positive about the team. You're the one trying to be negative.
I'm not trying to be negative. I just gave the path to winnability. If they do it, great. I don't know if they can. So
it's probably fair. Yeah, good point. I'm picking them to win. I don't know. I mean, it's going to backfire in some way, I'm sure, but
I hope they do
not
win.
Us. Also, by the way, I don't know if anybody saw Greg Waddell from Sleepers Media last night saying that Illinois could win the Big Ten without Shannon. That is so insane. But we're just gonna let that slide.
Do you think I heard last night? It was during the FS Fox Sports 1 game. I can't remember who was playing.
FS and Fox Sports 1, so
Whatever,
FS1.
Whatever. Shh, quiet. They said with Terrence Shannon out, Ohio State is probably the number 2 team in the Big Ten now.
Are they getting Ohio State confused with Wisconsin? Because I mean, Ohio State is good. They're probably 3rd or 4th, but Wisconsin's 2nd, I would think. Plus, our guy AJ Storr brings a whole new element to that team.
Yeah, yeah. Steve says Coleman goes for 26. Steve 91-82. I think he said that. Imbrot says she goes off, but things are different for people with a lot involved in this situation. Yeah, I understand. I was saying more about the Purdue.
I don't think I've ever seen one of her tweets, by the way. That's really the amazing thing is I hear all about this. I've never seen any of it.
It's good stuff, but I mean, I'm not hating on her, by the way.
Have we ever talked more about a player and how like good he looks and how much we wish that he kind of, stayed at Illinois or stayed committed to Illinois as much as AJ Storr, who's shooting under 30% from 3? Like, he's not a world beater. Come on. Good player, but
he's an athlete. Lauren Tate said Self is getting involved. Okay. I'm sorry that I
don't even know why we're reading any of these. I mean, who cares?
Depends on how we do on their guards and disrupt the entry pass. Jeffrey has 86-82 Illini. All right, on to the Big Ten. Here we go.
The Big Ten is a conference founded in okay.
Can you read the wiki for us before we start this?
Let's do it.
No, let's not. Minute 15. I gotta get to work.
You can skip that. So anyway, Nebraska and Indiana last night. Good stuff for Nebraska. The problem that I see with Nebraska, I think Ant Wright tweeted it, their schedule remaining. I don't know if they can win enough games to get in the tournament. I know they're 12-2 right now, but like, man, That's
Have they beat anybody of
Michigan State.
Okay.
They're 2-1 in the Big Ten. They're lost in the Big Ten though is to Minnesota, which doesn't help.
Not great.
But I think it's a quad
on the
2
road
loss,
though, right?
So, yeah, it's a quad 2 loss. I think so. It's not a killer. They're the ones to Creighton, but like you look at their schedule right now, Wisconsin on the road, that's probably a loss. Purdue loss. At Iowa, probably a loss. At Rutgers, I think they're better than Rutgers, but can they go to Rutgers and win in January? I don't know. Northwestern, probably a win, I would say. Northwestern kind of stinks.
Hold on. Why are we going through Nebraska's whole schedule?
Because they had a big win last night, and they might make the tournament this year.
Okay.
I can get us to an hour 20 easily. Ohio State, probably a loss. At Maryland, probably a loss. Home against Wisconsin, probably a loss.
Are you writing these down? Do you even know where you're at right now? Okay.
I said last night I see like 4 or 5 more wins or something. At Illinois, loss. At Northwestern, probably a loss. Home against Michigan and home against Penn State, they can win both of those games. That would be big. At Indiana, probably a loss, even though they killed them last night. But I just think, on the road it's a little different. Minnesota, win. At Ohio State, loss. Home against Rutgers, probably a win. At Michigan, probably a loss. I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be close.
Hinkle says after OSU's performance at home versus Rutgers last night, he has a hard time buying this team as a threat. Thoughts?
Yeah, they only beat Rutgers by 4.
They were kind of up, and then Rutgers got back in it. And
I didn't even know this game was on, by the way. So
that sounds good. I'm glad we're going through Nebraska's whole schedule. And
Nebraska was a big game last night.
Embra said a lot of people like to see Nebraska in the tournament. Yeah, we're Nebraska ball fans. Why Ethan's going through their whole schedule.
They gave us a championship 2 years ago.
I could get you to 2 hours if you let me. Ethan would go for 24 if you let him, guys. Philip, home win over Indiana is a quad 3 game.
That's true. But it was a blowout. They steamrolled them.
Steamrolled.
Indiana has not been very good this year, but they're also 10-4, and they've stayed in every game except for this game, the UConn game, and the Auburn game. So I guess 3 of their 4 losses, they didn't get blown out. And they outplayed Kansas for most of that game and still lost. Like Kansas or Indiana, I don't even know what you do if Trey Galloway scores 28 against Kansas and you don't win. That's a tough spot to be in. And then Ware had 11 and 15. But Indiana there's so many teams in the Big Ten right now that have horrible metrics. I can't remember a Big Ten with this many teams outside of the top 50 on KenPom. Like Rutgers is 86th, Minnesota is 83rd, Iowa 56th, Penn State 110th, Northwestern 68th, Nebraska 52, Maryland 79th, and then Michigan is 59th. That's like 7 or 8 teams outside of the top 50. When was the last time that ever happened? Usually it's like 3 or 4 teams that are out of it, maybe 5. But
KenPom Indiana is number 5 in luck.
I'll run the numbers on that one.
You don't believe him?
Oh, that's correct, yeah.
Jeffrey, I'm not even saying that because I don't need Ethan to go off on a team that's not even in the Big Ten. Embrats, I hope Indiana players play like their feet are in mud, like last time when night played. Yeah, sure.
Wisconsin beat Iowa the other night. That was the lead into the Illinois game. Wisconsin looks good. Stephen Crowell might be the most efficient player in the Big Ten, by the way. He has been wildly efficient this year. Right now, he is shooting 58.6% from 2 and 68% from 3, 11 for 16.
You know who can shut him down?
Coleman Hawkins.
That's right.
Coleman Hawkins, by the way, torched Wisconsin from 3 at the game in Champaign last year. But another thing for Wisconsin, obviously A.J. Storr, former Illini commit, former St. John's player, having a good season, 36 for 42 from the free throw line, 52% from 2, 29.8% from 3. Wall has not been great overall. I'd say he's getting better. They got freshman John Blackwell is having a good season, shooting 46% from 3. Esijan and Klesmit playing a little bit of reduced roles. Klesmit's been playing more lately. Esijan has kind of just not really played at all after a year where he played a ton. I think he started maybe 15 games for them last year. So weird that he's not playing like at all.
Yeah, that is weird.
And Chucky Hepburn offensively has not been doing a lot. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in double figures this year for him. Kind of weird that he's been doing what he's doing. His best game of the year is a 20-point game against Arkansas State. So Wisconsin's good. Iowa's not very good, but I still think Iowa can stay in games because of their offense, which is kind of how it always is. Except this year, I think it's extreme where they're 0-3 in the Big Ten, by the way. But they got Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, their next 3, so they can win. All right, let's wind this down here. This is getting out of hand. And unless you want to look at the Big Ten was founded in 1896.
I do not.
The weekend schedule in the Big Ten, I feel like I've already been over this. So you got Illinois, Purdue. Like there's nothing going on tomorrow night, and you have Illinois, Purdue. So maybe that'll be good for the sport.
Who plays before? UConn, Butler.
Butler, yeah. Could be a good game. Butler's, scrappy. Ohio State, Indiana Saturday, Nebraska, Wisconsin Saturday, Rutgers, Iowa Saturday. That's really what we got going on in the Big Ten there. Sunday, you got Michigan State at Northwestern. See if Northwestern can rebound from the loss. You got Michigan, Penn State, Maryland, Minnesota. So maybe the worst schedule in the history of college basketball on Monday night, by the way, for everybody. Don't look at that. Illinois has 3 of the top 30 Big Ten players in three-point percentage and 4 in the top 45 in the top 60. They also have 6 players in the top 60 two-point percentage. So a lot of different guys doing good things.
Yeah, it's nice to have multiple weapons. So Jeffrey says, I'll say this. If we play this way against Tennessee, we win the way we have been playing. Fair enough. You're going to take that banner off? Okay. Anyways.
Let's get this going.
As always, when we want to shout out Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon at 700 East Broadway Avenue in Mattoon, Illinois. You can find them online at www.alamo-steakhouse.com. The January specials are here. New year, new specials, new month, new specials. Thursday tonight, it's a chimichurri steak fajita, which is a steak fajita kicked up with parsley, garlic, and cilantro butter. The featured items all month long are a smokehouse burger, half-pound Angus patty topped with pulled pork, candied bacon, crispy onions, barbecue sauce, and cheddar cheese. And their featured dessert this month is a peanut butter explosion cake. So go get you some of that. If you would like to be a sponsor for an episode, all the episodes, or the watch parties, because we do a lot of those, please reach out to us on Twitter or email us at illinibasketballpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, thumbs up, bing, subscribe, turn on the notifications.
Does it make that noise?
Dong. I don't know. I'll make
not.
the noise for you if you hit the like button. So comment, leave a review. I don't know if we got any more reviews. Ethan's been trying to push that out. If you could go on there and 5-star review us so DeMonte doesn't keep bringing us down.
We've gotten one, but I think it was from me, so
good
still
work.
3.9.
Brady tweets at Jersey Jerry, and he holds it 15 minutes later.
I did see Tom Brady tweeted him, yeah.
Go record halftime show.
Go record halftime show.
Go record halftime show. Go record the halftime show. It's still cold, but Ethan could probably do that on his own. You could probably do that.
I feel like it's better live, isn't it?
I mean, how would they know if it's live or not?
The darkness of tomorrow night.
We'll do it at night tonight.
I mean, it's gonna be like 35 degrees with snow coming.
Big snow coming next week. So stay safe out there, Illini fans. Hopefully we're back and Illinois got to win. And then they play Michigan State. Is that the next game? Michigan State? Next Thursday?
I think so.
A week off?
Yeah. And then Sunday against Maryland. And then at Michigan, then against Rutgers at home, then at Northwestern, home against Indiana, at Ohio State, home against Nebraska, home against Michigan State. Nope. Away against Michigan State, home against Michigan, at Maryland, at Penn State, home against Iowa, home against Minnesota, at Wisconsin, home against Purdue, at Iowa.
Sounds like 17 wins to me.
Okay. All right. I mean, this is the longest episode maybe of all time, so.
It was a long one, but it was a good one. These morning ones kind of, I feel like I got a little bit more energy for some reason, but
Sure, maybe we should do this from now. I mean, we had a ton of viewers, so
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody coming in. See you Thursday. Excuse me.
See you tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow
Watch
night.
party.
I'll be live about 7:20. I'll perform better than I did in the last one. That's a guarantee.
Are you gonna stick around for this one?
Relax. I was under the weather. I was a flu game. And plus it was FDU. I could get away with that against FDU.
That's
but
true.
All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Rate the podcast on Apple because it's getting ridiculous. 3.9 ridiculous.